Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the Fender Greta. This amp's from 2012 and it is a full-on tube amp. Uses a 12AT7 as well as a 12AX7 tube. And it's a whole whopping 2 watts. So they call it 1 watt clean and 2 watts dirty. Anyways, it's got a VU meter on it that says clean on one side and overload on the other. And it's cute. Looks like an old-fashioned radio. Saw this in Long McQuaid yesterday, and I tried it out on a couple of guitars, humbuckers for a Les Paul, and then they had a telly on the wall. At least that was left-handed, and I'm better at lefty, obviously. And just to see what the difference was with pickups. Really not that much to write home about for differences, okay? It's about the same. Now, this is a neat little practice amp. It can be clean. So if we split the coil, because I can on my Les Paul. Let's bring the volume up. Barely breaking up. That's still actually pretty clean. Let's put it back to humbucker mode. This is all on the bridge, by the way. Now that's starting to really break. Back to the single. So it can break up easily. All right, now that is something a lot of people have mentioned. This is actually a limited edition. Okay, it was only out for 1 year, and there wasn't a whole ton of them made either. And well, it probably was a good thing because it really didn't catch on very well. Now it does have wooden front and back on it, which is kind of cool, and of course a metal top. They call the color gold. And it's like, well, if that's gold, I'd hate to see what they think olive drab looks like, because whatever. But anyway, the red at least is a nice red. But their gold has much to be desired. But it still looks kind of cool either way. And that kind of tweaked me. And I like the VU meter. And it's very simplistic. One volume, one tone control. Now, of course, the tone I've got down about halfway. So if we go to full tone here. Has that old-fashioned radio kind of tone to it. Okay, so back to humbucker. We want to clean that up. So this has some kind of a special designed 4-inch speaker. Old school VU meter, they say. Clean to overload indicator display. Simple volume and tone. Charmingly vintage style. And this is some kind of they call it a Pawn Shop Special Greta model is what they actually call this thing. Other than the main title, which is Fender Greta. Now, this, of course, I picked this up at Long McQuaid for 149 bucks on the Black Friday deal. They normally would be selling this for 199, and be honest with you, I wouldn't pay 200 bucks. I mean, we are talking 2012, and this thing is absolutely impeccable and cherry, but I don't think 200 bucks is quite going to cut it in my world, but $149 for a used amp. And considering this is all tube, and there's a lot of work that went into this thing, I'll give it that. It is a really neat little cool amp, and I just kind of had to have it. I do have some nostalgia about me, and it is low wattage, so not a big deal. Now, there is no headphone jack on this, okay? On the back panel, you're going to find a power switch, really heavy-duty one. You're also going to find a input jack for auxiliary, which does give you very clean audio, even at the higher levels, apparently, when you're putting in an MP3 player or even an old-fashioned CD player. This is a demo today, not a review, because I still want to test my CD player on this thing. So this is, you call it a demo and first impression, okay, is what we're doing here. But I do have some things that will still be double mentioned, and that's the price. I think $149 was actually a really good deal for this thing. Now, I did notice that there was some available on Reverb. There's one up here for $350. Now, that's actually pretty mental. This amp, brand new in 2012, actually still in 2014 even, there was still, I guess it was new old stock. I watch a channel called In the Blues with a guy named Shane, and he's an Australian, and he went and checked this one out originally. The date on his video would have been like 12 years ago, or not even 20. Oh, I can't remember. Either way, there were things that he liked about it, things he obviously didn't. You can check out his videos. He's got a few of them on there. But I saw the price tag in the store, 399 Aussie dollars. Now, Australian dollars to Canadian, there ain't that much difference. Okay, very minimal, in fact. So, but why would you pay $350 nowadays on Reverb? Oh, but it's vintage, it's nostalgic, it's a limited edition. They didn't make very many. And your point is, it didn't go over very well, obviously. There's one for sale on eBay for $450. I thought, holy crumbuggers. Anyways, I found a few more for sale. There's actually a few of them actually on Reverb. There's one here for $545.67 plus a $233 delivery fee. I mean, you got to be mental cased to do that. $350 for one on Reverb, $60 delivery. There's one for $398.88 on Reverb, $518.80 delivery. Okay, and it's like, are you serious? Like, that is nuts. And it is. Here's one right here on Reverb for $399.39 plus $519.45 shipping. Where the heck is it coming from? Mars? Like, seriously, that is just stupidness, you know? And there are a number of them here on Reverb for sale at all different prices. $350, $399, $467, $540, all different shipping rates, obviously. Cheapest shipping, you're going to get $60, but it's still not worth no $350. I don't care. Now, I don't have the manual for this, so that part is missing. Not that it's much of a manual. It looks like it's just a piece of paper in this picture. But either way, it's a neat little amp. And if you like this kind of a tone, it's definitely got it on the built-in speaker. I thought it was a head at first, but apparently it is both. It does have a speaker out or cab out. You do need a bare minimum of an 8-inch speaker, 8-ohm speaker. 8-ohm speaker minimum or higher. You cannot go lower than 8 ohms or you're going to cook this sucker. Okay? And then it has line out, which is fantastic for going into a PA if you wanted to do that, or into a USB interface, and you could use the line out. Now, the line out also has another advantage. I have a Roland Cube Street here, which we're going to do a video on as well, utilizing this as a preamp into the cleanest channel that I have on my Cube, and we're going to see how it reacts that way as well. Now, this would be a benefit to those of you who have Katana amps that have the power amp input. You could use this as a preamp on your Katana, okay? Or if you have another brand of amp that has power amp in, like the Katanas, you could use this as a preamp by using the line out for that. The cab out is strictly for a external speaker only. So yeah, you don't want to plug that into anything hot and start cranking up, or you'll cook your amp on the other end. So remember, line out is for mixing boards, USB interfaces. Line out also goes to a guitar input jack on another amp, or into a amplified PA speaker even, direct in, you could do that. Now, when you are actually using the cab out feature, from what I've seen on YouTube, I've heard this thing on a 1x12 and a 4x12 cab, and that clean tone lasts for a lot longer and sounds so much better, especially on the 4x12. But even on the 1x12, it did a really good job. Okay, so but I know you guys want to hear some punch come out of this thing, and so we're going to do that for you here. Now that's full tone, so we'll back that off a little bit. So let's just get it over with and go right to full blast. That's humbucker mode. Let's go to single coil. No tone. Still full blast. Humbucker full blast. Turn that tone all the way up, and then we'll back off just a little bit. Go to the neck pickup. Neck pickup split. Okay, so this thing they say is pickup picky, and I think that's a load of hokum, to be honest. But I didn't find that much difference between the Les Paul Studio that I played on at Long McQuaid and the Mexicano Telecaster with its single coils. Didn't really find too much difference, especially once you start getting that breakup in there. You really can't tell much difference. But it does have a pretty clean side to it, but a very low volume. So we are going to test it, like I said, in different scenarios before we do a review on it, so you get an idea what I'm capable of doing for the set equipment, which means we're going to go line out directly into my rolling cube. We're going to do that video, and what else we're going to do? Well, I'm going to test the audio myself for the playthrough. I won't do that on YouTube because, well, they'll demonetize my butt for copyrighted music. So I'll let you know what I think about the audio and how clean it actually gets compared to the NAMM show video too, where I saw them using an MP3 player. So far, it's the only one I've seen where they did. There are a number of videos I would look at in YouTube though and get different opinion bases. But I will do a review eventually on this thing for you guys in the next day or two. I just want to do some testing. Today was just all about, here it is, this is what it is, and, you know, this is my first impression. I think it's still kind of cool no matter what, and it gives a tonal range that I don't even have available on my cube, but also gives me the advantage that I can play this thing without making a lot of noise too, which is kind of very ideal. So you can actually get some nice breakup without maybe getting your neighbors upset with you next door or above you, whatever. It is definitely good for that aspect, but it is nice too that you've got the cab out on it, but it is an 8 ohm minimum for the speaker. It must be 8 ohms. Wattage makes no difference. As long as you got the 8 ohms, you're good. Going to any cab you want that's 8 ohms, 16 ohms, whatever, okay? But nothing below 8 ohms, or you will cook this amp. Okay, but yeah, for a little 2-watt amp, it's kind of cute. 149 bucks. Well, I'll call it 150. Great price. I'm happy with the price. I wouldn't have paid more for that. I actually would have walked. If it would have been $200, like the price sticker says here, I would have walked from it. I was not going to invest $200 into something like this. As cool as it is, and as much as I think it's a neat little amp, I have my limits. Okay, I mean, I got a rolling cube original that has way more and way cleaner and way more output that I paid $180 for. So, which that's only about $30 more than, you know, what I paid for this thing. And but this is tube amp too. You got to keep that in mind. But still, it is 2012 edition, and it may gain some value. But the values of reverb are absolutely ludicrous, and so is eBay. It's not worth that kind of money in today's money, especially when people are trying to get way more than what it even sold for brand new. That is definitely mental, okay? But you know, there are suckers born every minute, and that's the problem too. They're gold on here though, like the gold here on the knobs, the gold in here. That's a nice gold. If they would have done that with the top, that would have been awesome, because then you could actually say it's a gold top. But that is definitely not gold. That is like washed out completely. And that's probably just because of the clear coat they put on it. I've seen beautiful, beautiful finished gold paint, and then as soon as you hit clear coat to it, it actually does something like this. Sometimes it's actually worse. So at least they tried. But this is gold, this is gold, this is gold. This is not gold. But I'm not gonna pick on it for that. It's still a nice color blend with the red, and it still looks pretty awesome. So I'll let you guys know how everything else goes. I'll do a video today as well for going from the line out into my cube amp, and we'll hear what it sounds like on there as using this as a preamp only, because I think that's going to be interesting. Because yeah, 4-inch little tiny speaker that can't even barely vibrate, I mean, that's going to definitely cause breakup, as we know. So anyway, that's what I got for you on this one. Stay tuned for more, and then also stay tuned for the main review once I'm completely done and I've had the full experience with this, other than a cab, because I don't have a cab accessible to me, unfortunately. So, but anyway, that's it. That's all. See you on the next one.